Welcome to Quick Movie Recaps. Today, we will review a sci-fi thriller movie named Selfless from 2015. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and subscribe. Damian Hale is New York's top businessman. He is dying of cancer. One day, Damian finds a business card in his pocket and calls Dr. Albright. The doctor introduces him to a medical procedure called shedding, which transfers the consciousness of a person into an artificially created body. Dr. Albright tells Damian that the procedure is irreversible, and your old body will be publicly pronounced dead. While Damian is still considering the offer, his health begins to worsen. With no family to speak of except an estranged daughter, he decides to go ahead with the procedure. Dr. Albright arranges for Damian to travel to New Orleans, where the office is located. In a restaurant, Damian catches up with Martin, but he collapses. The ambulance, instead of hospital, takes him to the Dr. Albright's office, where the shedding procedure begins, and Damian's consciousness is transferred into the body of a healthy young man. Damian is publicly declared dead. As Damian starts to adjust to his new body, Dr. Albright gives him a certain medication that lessen hallucinations of the procedure. Damian settles to another city, where he actively participates in high-intensity sports, goes to nightclubs, and have a fun like young guy with beautiful girls. While having fun with his girlfriend, Damian forgets to take his medicine. He gets his first hallucination, where he sees soldiers, a woman and a small girl with a water tower painted like a pumpkin. Next day, Damian tells Dr. Albright about these hallucinations, but Doctor tells him not to worry, and go to Hawaii to have fun. Damian thinks that as these hallucinations can be memories. He searches of the water tower on Google, and he sees it exists near St. Louis. Damian dodges Albright's men and travels to St. Louis and finds the water tower. Damian sees the house that he saw in his hallucinations. He goes inside, and gets shocked to see pictures of himself as a soldier, and with a woman and girl. Suddenly, a woman comes home, and is shaken to see Damian, who is her husband Mark. Her name is Maddie and their daughter's name is Anna. Out of nowhere, Dr. Albright's men arrive at the home and attack them. Damian, having Mark's military fighting instincts, fights back against the henchmen, but he loses his medicine in the process. They then travel to Anna's school to take her to the safety. Now at a hotel, Damian deeply searches about Dr. Jensen. While watching a video of him, he sees that he has a tic that Dr. Albright also has. He quickly figures out that Dr. Jensen shed himself and is now Dr. Albright, and the artificially created bodies are real people. The trio travel to New Orleans to meet Dr. Jensen's wife. With Maddie and Anna waiting in her car, Damian meets Dr. Albright, who tells Damian to keep taking the medication as it will help kill the consciousness of the original host body. But Dr. Albright still brought more henchmen to kill Damian again, but he escapes. As they flee, Damian tells Maddie what happened to Mark, which she finds hard to believe. He says he can prove it, and they travel to Martin's ranch. Martin is skeptical of Damian's claims, but then he shows their first ever real estate purchase deed, and tells him personal things that only Damian would know. While Damian and Maddie to flee the country, Anna begins playing with Martin's young son Tony. Damian is shocked to see this, since Tony died 2 years ago. Martin reveals that he used Dr. Albright's services to shed his son, and put that business card in Damian's pocket. But Damian tells him the bitter truth of the artificially created bodies. Martin tells Damian that Dr. Albright's men are hiding outside the ranch. Damian takes Martin's car and drives off, while Martin takes Maddie and Anna into the nearby woods to hide. Damian easily defeats the henchmen with his younger and powerful body, but Maddie and Anna are captured while running from woods. Damian decides to stop taking the medicine, hoping to find a memory of Mark's that will reveal the location of the lab. It works, and he learns that it's in an abandoned warehouse across the river. Damian travels there, but is promptly caught. Dr. Albright tries to shed the mind of Anton, his lead henchman, into Mark's body, but fails because Damian knew that presence of any metal will prevent the transfer from occurring, so he hides a bullet in his mouth. The shedding occurs, and Damian pretends to be Anton, orders Maddie and Anna released. He then kills the henchman and confronts Dr. Albright. He tells the doctor that he doesn't need his medicine anymore, and kills Dr. Albright for his bad deeds. So, he travels back to New York and meets his daughter Claire. He introduces himself as the best friend of her father, give her a last letter after his death. In the letter, Damian apologizes Claire for everything. Then, Damian realizes that he lived his life to fullest, and now it is time for Mark to live with her daughter Anna. Days later, Damian wakes up and sees a laptop next to him with a Play Me note attached. Mark sees himself as Damian, thanking him to let the use of his body and give him extra time to live. By the time Mark sees the video, Damian's consciousness is completely wiped. Mark's consciousness is back now, and he reunites with Maddie and Anna. That's the end. Which part was more fascinating for you? Let us know in the comments section. For more amazing content, jam that subscribe button.